Hello, how are you doing?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
I am well, thank you. And what are we talking about today?
Yeah, so today I would love to chat about creating a vision for ourselves and why some people create a vision but then don't make it happen.
Yes,
Okay,
I can
so what,
relate.
yeah, so what I'd love to chat about is kind of having goals, having dreams, but not really having the architecture, the structure to support turn those into reality, i.e., create them in our lives. So let's begin with something I've recently learned in a training with Brendan Burchard. So the world's number one high performance coach.
You
Big
love
Brendan
Brendan.
fans. Oh, I love Brendan. Shout out to Brendan. So what I learned in his recent training was that, yeah, most of us start a new year with the dreams, the visions, and we kind of go off and we have them written down and then we hit, say, I don't know, March, and we're like, oh, I haven't really got anywhere or nothing's really changed in my life. And what he shares and what I'm going to kind of reflect on is that because what we've actually been doing is just working through a task list between January to March, we've not really had a structure for understanding our dreams and desires, what it means to actually manifest them in our daily lives, and then what's required of us to make them happen. So I'll quickly share his framework with
Yeah.
you. So the framework is there's just 4 points to this framework. It's really simple.
Mhm.
It's desires. So understanding what our deep human desires are. And we actually only have four universal desires,
Mm.
which initially when I first was open to this, I was like, oh, well, that strips it back rather than
Yeah.
what is it that I want for my life and what's my passion, what's my purpose. Everything comes down to these four desires, which are aliveness. So
Love
feeling
that.
alive. Like, what
Yeah.
do you do to feel alive? What brings you
Yeah.
that aliveness? Deep connection. So those relationships that we have with
Mhm.
ourselves as well as others. So not just
Yeah.
surface stuff, like deeper connections,
Mhm.
meaningful pursuits. So what are we? It's the hunt. What are we working
Yeah.
towards?
And I love that part. It's the pursuits.
It's a pursuit. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
having that because when we're not in pursuit of something, that's when we can feel stuck, isn't it?
Yeah.
And like we need to be in pursuit of something to feel that. We're supposed to feel that aliveness as well.
Aliveness. Yeah.
It all links,
Absolutely.
doesn't it?
Absolutely. And the fourth one that kind of pulls it all together is growth.
Yeah.
So it's the desire to grow.
And this is where we both felt that, a few years ago when we met, that we both stopped growing. And that
Yes.
equally led us to just feel like, man, what are we
Yeah.
doing with our
Yeah.
lives? We both stopped growing. We'd done the things that we wanted to do, and we hit a point in our lives where we were like, what next?
Yes,
Oh,
absolutely. It was
so
that
yeah, just
plateau, wasn't it? Yeah, no, this is
yeah,
great. Like it was that plateau. And yeah, we both got to that point in different places. And we were both like, because it's a human need, because it's a human desire to
yeah,
grow. And we tick, 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 done all the things. And then I know I
yeah,
was like scratching my head going, oh, like what is that? Is that it? Like, and
yeah.
not in an ungrateful way, because I live
No,
deeply in gratitude and I know you do too. But yeah, literally a head scratching moment of like, well, yeah, is that it? And that
yeah,
then that was just tapping back into my growth had plateaued, my growth had stopped,
yeah.
and I needed to get myself back in that zone. So
Sorry, can I just also, before we
yeah,
move on,
please
because I
do.
got more examples of what we've just said, just to really kind of illustrate what these
Hmm.
universal desires are, because I think they've all been tapped into along our journey. But the aliveness, it just hit me like the alcohol-free adventure that we went on massively impacted that as well, didn't it? Because it made us do things that made us feel alive and it made us live on HD, like seeing life, appreciating life, doing life, where we'd like, obviously, recently we've walked up Snowdon. We would have never really, done that. We wouldn't probably have thought that. Well, we could have done, but we've just done a lot of things to make us feel alive over that journey, haven't we? And then the deep connection, you say it's about understanding ourselves first, isn't it?
Mm.
And then kind of being able to share that, feel understood by others. And this is what we were talking about last week, which was that it's really important that we understand ourselves first so that then we can feel understood by, well, we almost don't need to feel understood by others because we've got that understanding of ourselves. But you were probably my first person where I felt deep connection because I feel like you saw me
Mhm.
in a new way that was like, I believe in you and I know what's inside of you. And obviously my family and everyone believes, believes in me, but it was just a different level
Yeah.
of like, oh, okay. Cat Cat believes like because we didn't really know each other, did we? But
No.
you just had this belief in me, and I was like, well, if Cat believes in me, I need to keep walking.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And
I
that's
just
key because we have these people in our lives where it's a different conversation. Like, and we
yeah,
talk about this a lot because that's what our membership is based around is deep connection and growth.
yeah, yeah,
Um, and it's not just your playground chat, pub chat, is it?
yeah,
It's like I'm okay to chat with these people on much deeper levels and
yeah. About the real stuff.
yeah, the
The
stuff that
real stuff.
matters.
Yeah.
Like and it does take
Mm,
courage and vulnerability. And that's again why we have TAGC, that's a safe space to do that. Like
yeah.
we really mean that. You come in and it's a no judgment zone. Like you show
Yeah.
up as you. We are
Mm,
here for you to be you.
yeah.
And what you've just shared is that getting deeper connected with ourselves is so important and
Hmm.
so fundamental to this journey. And I know from just recent conversations actually, people can be scared to do that.
Yeah.
People can be scared to go inside to get deeper connected with themselves for fear of what might come up. So I just want to acknowledge that first of all, that if you're feeling like that, that's
Hmm.
okay. And you're absolutely not alone.
Yeah.
And it's pushing through that resistance because the best relationship you'll ever have is the one with yourself.
Yes.
And you want to make that the best relationship you ever have, the one with yourself,
Yeah.
because you are home for you.
Hmm.
And when you get to know yourself on a deeper level and love yourself, and I don't mean going, oh, yeah, it's the self love trend.
Yeah.
I mean, go on, really love yourself, accept yourself.
Yeah.
That's a journey.
Hmm.
You will strengthen that relationship and you'll start to change how you think about yourself and how you feel about yourself. And the conversations, that inner critic that once was, becomes more of the buddy, becomes more of the best friend.
Yeah.
And yeah, okay, the critic will jump back in because there'll be moments in your life where you'll go into a stretch zone or be pushing out of a comfort zone. And the critic will come in and go, oh, but can you really do this? And you go, okay, we've been here before. I know
Yeah.
how to handle you.
Yeah.
Like, hold on a minute. And you just switch back into that best friend mode, the coach mode,
Yeah.
far quicker than you used to before.
Yeah.
So it's okay. It's not a mission to go, I'm never going to have a negative thought for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
That's not possible. Let's not kid ourselves. But it's equipping and kind of having that self-regulation that we know what to
Yeah.
do when that comes back in.
And I
Oh, I'm
think as well,
tangenting
sorry,
here,
I
aren't I?
know,
Sorry.
but you've just brought a really great point. But I almost wonder the heaviness of the inner work. Is that a bit of a just a society kind of thing that we've like, to do the inner work, you have to go deep and it's really just distressing. And don't get me wrong, I know that there are, I mean, I've done some deep healing myself and it's not easy, but also it doesn't have to be heavy and
No.
a lot. Like it really doesn't. And in last week's episode, I shared that I had a box that I was avoiding opening.
Mhm.
And do you know what? Opening it, the fear of opening it was way worse than actually opening it because
Yes.
all it needed was my awareness and to see myself as that age back then living through that. And I could hold that compassion for myself. And I just think, let's try and debunk that because it doesn't have to be heavy. It doesn't have to be a lot. Like, and I think we really pride ourselves on this in TAGC because it's at your own pace. Like, it's in your own way. It's building awareness of things. Yeah, so having the awareness around these things is the ultimate power move. Like that's the first step. That's almost, I feel like all of this has been just about having awareness, no matter how deep you go.
Mm,
It's seeing it, it's being with it, whatever it is, and just realizing it's the fear of it is often worse than the actual thing.
mm.
And I certainly know I've found that.
Yeah, I'm really glad you shared that because you're right. There can be a general feeling of, oh, it is icky and it is scary,
Mm,
and it doesn't have to be that way.
no.
And the awareness is key because it's that shift from autopilot living to living with intention, to living
Hmm.
consciously. So rather than living from our programmed subconscious, it's living in that conscious. That's when we get to feel more present. That's when we get to feel more aliveness.
Yes,
And I would
yes.
say the sooner you embrace and open that box,
Hmm.
the quicker you will get back to being your true, authentic self.
Yeah.
Open the box, let it spill out, have a look inside, feel it, work with it. Like Charlotte said, it doesn't have to be deep or hard or challenging. There will be
Mm.
moments of healing, and that's okay.
Hmm.
But it is really in a decision to go, come on, let's just do it.
Yeah,
Let's
let's
go
see
inside. Let's
myself.
see
Yeah.
myself again.
Yeah.
Let's honor myself. Let's rediscover myself. She's there. She's
Hmm.
there. This 5-year old, 6-year old, however we want to get back in touch with that inner child,
Yeah.
the one that had life without judgment, the one that was a full expression of herself, and
Hmm.
whatever age that looks like for you, she's there. And yeah, we encourage, don't we, to open the box and see it for however you want to see it. See it as a journey, see it
Hmm.
as a discovery, an exploration. Get
Definitely.
curious.
And I think as well, maybe it's the notion of you don't even have to open that box first. This journey is
Yeah.
about raising awareness in your now. And along
Mm,
the way, things pop up. Maybe the box opens itself because you get to a
yeah.
point where you're like, oh, that's why from that, that's maybe why I do this,
Mm,
and it can come about in such a natural, beautiful way that maybe it's not even a case of opening your box. It
yeah.
opens itself through the awareness that you've built in the now, and you're kind of then linking back to what you've done. So I
Yes.
really don't think it has to be the inner work is scary and I'm just going to push it away with all my might because I don't want to do that. Like,
Yeah.
and it depends. Some people will never do it and will never want to do it, and that is okay. That's, but again, their choice. That's totally
Yeah.
okay. But if you want that life that feels free, that feels peaceful, that feels so in line with who you truly are, a life that builds you up, a way of being that just feels so good inside. You don't need anything external anymore. If you want all of that, it just starts with building that awareness.
That's it.
And yeah,
That deep
so
connection with self, isn't it? And
mhm,
I'm just going to throw out here a belief shift for you, whoever's listening.
yeah,
The inner work gets to be exciting.
yes,
There we go. Try that one on.
love that
See how
because
that
you're
feels.
grabbing your power back and it is exciting. I remember at the very beginning, my first affirmation that I said again and again and again was, I am so excited to see what I'm capable of. That was it. Like,
Mhm.
I was just like, then it doesn't matter whether I get it right or wrong. I'm
Mm.
just seeing what I'm capable of. That's it. That's all that we need
Yes.
to do. That's the journey back to self.
Yeah.
That's the journey from life feeling heavy and adulty
Yeah. Yeah.
to going,
Absolutely.
right, let's just get that excitement and that aliveness back in my life.
Mm.
Yeah.
So yeah, so if you've had that thought pattern that the inner work is scary and it's not working for you, try this new one. The inner work gets to be exciting. And let us know. Let us know. But keep
Yes.
running with it because we know beliefs are just thought patterns.
Yeah.
They're just ones we've had on repeat, so we just don't have to work at them anymore.
Yeah.
But use this new one and it gets to be exciting.
Yes. Love that.
So that's deep connection.
Yes.
One of
So
the
I've had the four
four
human
human desires.
desires.
That's it. So we have the four human desires, and next part of the framework is routines.
Mhm.
So routines, not habits, and there's a difference which we'll cover. Now, what we must do is ask ourselves, are we living in routine with what we desire? So, what I mean is, do we have daily, weekly, monthly, and annual routines that support our desires? So, how we want to feel, how we want to live,
Mm.
or are we leaving each day victim to randomness? So, are we skipping the routine and
Mhm.
jumping down to the next part of the framework to our goals and just working on those, or worse, skipping again in the framework and just powering through our tasks? So this is the difference in those at the
Mhm.
start of the year that don't have a framework and go, oh, this is what I want for 2024. They've not really gone in and thought about the desires. They've not built routines, daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly to support them. They've not set goals, and goals are ambitious outcomes. So a goal is something
Mhm.
that's going to stretch you. And they've gone right down. And in 2024, they wrote a task list and they've just been in task mode every day. Tasks are just the things we do.
Mhm.
And Brendan shared, and he made me laugh because I was like, oh, I used to have that as a goal. Oops. It's like, he's like, in your day, he's like, doing your meal plan or, I don't know, doing your food shop, that's not a goal. He's like, that's a task. I'm like, oh, damn it. Damn it. That's my goal. Like, that's task we just have to do. Tasks are just the things we have to do to get to the goals, to get to the,
Yeah.
to fulfill the routines, to reach their desires.
Yeah.
So it's looking at it in that way. And that's the manifestation of it. It's the what are my routines that are going to get me toward these desires? And I've got a goal that's going to stretch me. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's so and also I just want to touch on where I mentioned routines, that was it, and not habits, because initially routines are something that require effort.
Mhm.
There's something that has to be scheduled.
Yeah.
You have to consciously work at them until they then become habits,
Mhm.
until they become your new, "Oh, that's just what I do,"
Yeah.
your new autopilot. So an example of this is my morning routine. I never had one.
Mhm.
I was shocking. I had a belief that I couldn't get up early. So even though I actually could, I didn't because I believed it wasn't true for myself.
Yeah.
So that's something to be aware of as well.
I'm
Little
not a
tip there.
morning person.
Little
You?
tip if you need to change your belief on that. Because even if we got all the will in the world to go, right, I'm going to get up this morning, I'm going to get up, I'm going to do it. If you've still got this subconscious belief that you're not a morning person, you're going to live in line with that belief. So
Yeah.
have a little think about that as well. So I didn't have a morning routine and I just felt out of alignment. It was
Mhm.
frustrating. But this was awareness. I had to go like, what is it that at 25 past 8 in the morning where I feel harassed? I feel like I've run a marathon
Yeah.
and I'm trying to get the kids to school and I feel like I've run a marathon already. I do not
Yeah.
feel calm. I do not feel at ease. I do not feel intentional for my day. I
Yeah.
feel flustered. I've probably banged my toast 6 times because that's what happens. I've dropped the toast. I've spilt the milk. My kids are going into school just kind of like rabbit in headlights. um, so that felt not right for me. I felt
Mhm.
out of alignment. So I knew I had to figure out a different way. So I did some work in terms of my beliefs, what I thought was going on. So I was on this new mission. So I had to create a new morning routine for myself. And I had to lean into that desire of like, what is it that I want? And it was the aliveness. Now,
Mhm.
aliveness can look really different for many of us. It can be a physical aliveness, a spiritual aliveness.
Yeah.
Aliveness could be time on the moga mat. I don't know what that is. A yoga
Yoga
mat.
mat.
Time on the yoga mat, time in meditation, a morning walk, a run. It's very
Yeah.
different, but it's what makes you feel alive. And for me, aliveness was going to be starting my mornings with an intention and feeling calm.
Yeah.
So that was my desire. So, what routine did I need to put in place? I needed to put in a morning routine that was going to deliver that for me. And that
Mhm.
meant getting up earlier. It
Yeah.
meant me carving out time for me so I could wake up before the kids.
Mhm.
So I just had even those 10 minutes, just 10 minutes to kind of acclimatize,
Yeah.
have my coffee. So that's where I started. I started 10 minutes earlier than I normally would.
Yeah.
And I kept eking it back and eking it back. But it was a conscious effort. It
Mhm.
was hard. I'm not going to like sugarcoat it. It was hard because I spent most of my adult
Yeah.
life not being a morning person, but the
And do you know
desire was there.
Yeah, and that don't you think that holds us all back a bit because we feel like it with a habit. I don't know, we kind of shy away from the discipline and the
Mm,
we just wait for the motivation and the motivation doesn't come. It's the discipline that we need. If we
yeah,
truly, truly want to do something,
yeah,
we can do anything.
we can. But it's that
But like you
short-term
say,
pain for that
yeah,
long-term gain. Like we've got to
yeah,
be in it, and this is why it's important to make that desire strong.
hmm,
Because I didn't
yeah,
want to just have look back another year and go, "Oh, I'm just feeling
mm,
all these crap feelings still.
yeah,
I'm still, me and my family are still feeling harassed
mm,
as we leave the door. And I know that we do things to not allow pockets of time to impact the rest of the days, that we have our reset button, but you're still not getting off to the best start, and,
no,
and that was within my control.
mm,
I could
yeah,
control what I did in the morning. So yes, it took discipline. Yes, it took hard work, but I persevered because the desire was strong and I'd recognise that.
hmm,
And over time, I got to a point where I got up first. I had my morning coffee, I did a meditation, and I could do all those things for me. So when the kids did wake up, I was in a better space.
hmm,
So that's just an example of it becoming a routine until now it is a habit for me. It's something I just do.
yeah,
My alarm goes off at 5:55 and I get up just like I used to get up at 8:10.
yeah,
That was my habit. This is my new habit. So I just wanted to stress that because there is definitely a difference between a routine and a habit. Um, so it's really looking at what routines am I doing, like I said, daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly,
hmm,
to manifest those desires, to make them a part of our lives. And then we set the goals. We set the goals that stretch us, those ambitious outcomes, like,
hmm,
and that in the goal is the push out of the comfort zone. In the
yeah,
goal is that I'm going to feel uncomfortable doing this,
hmm,
but I recognize that that's part of the journey. Probably going to feel some resistance, probably going to feel some fear,
yeah,
but I learn to dance with the fear and do it anyway.
yeah,
And then we have the tasks that we just do, like
yeah,
the food shopping. Sorry, guys, if that was your goal for today, it's
yeah.
now a task. And that's the
Definitely.
structure and that's the framework. And I think the key thing here is putting the things in place in our lives, i.e., the routines, to live into that,
Yeah.
to
And
live into
that
those
just makes
desires.
your dreams a lifestyle, not just a dream. Like, even, I don't know, and I think we've kind of done this with the Authentic Girls Club. Like, it's a dream of both of ours, but it's a lifestyle because we practice what we preach. We do all that we do because we know how good it feels to feel, we've gone through this process and it is our way of life now, isn't it? Like, it's our lifestyle. Our routines have become habits because we've been through that, stretchy zone, and we've practiced and flexed that discipline muscle. And it just, yeah, becomes a way of life. And I think for me, when you first shared all this with me, those four human desires really got me because I'm like, that's what everyone's after.
Mm,
Makes so much sense. That's it. And I think when you can almost put them into four, obviously there's things that tailor off, like aliveness could mean, like you say, different things to all of us. When you've got four things that's gonna really enhance your life and that's gonna make you feel good, like
mm,
that just simplifies it, I think, and just I don't know, we can all implement routines to tap into all four of those things, can't we? And we've just got to figure out what that means for us. Um,
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, so I
amazing.
think that's the takeaway today is go and have a think about those four desires
Yeah.
and what can you do in your routines to support them. So like
Mm,
aliveness could
yeah.
be, say, an annual routine could be I climb a mountain once a year.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
it might not look like that for you. It might look like something totally different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Aliveness might look like your daily or weekly aliveness might look like you read daily 3 pages of a book. That might
Mm,
make you feel alive.
yeah.
Deep connection, it might be that when your partner comes through the door, instead of shouting from the other room, hiya, you get up and you go and give them a kiss.
Yeah.
That might be that deep connection piece, part of your routine. That's just what you do. That's how you greet them.
I love that
That
one of
might
our
be the
members
missing
did that,
piece.
didn't she? And
Yeah,
she
she
shared the
did.
win. And I too, that can be a day changer. It really
Yeah.
can. That simple little thing can really change everything.
Mm.
I love that. I love that example. Um,
So let
yes.
us know, guys. You know, we love
Yeah.
a two-way conversation.
Yes.
Let us know your takeaways from this episode. If it's really landed with you and you think, oh, more people need to know this,
Yeah.
share it.
Yes.
Share it with
Yeah.
somebody that you know will benefit too from hearing this
Mhm.
today. And have a think about those desires and share them with us.
Yeah, because this is
We
the root of now, not just setting New Year's resolutions. Like,
no,
oh no, let's do more than that. Let's tap into what it's truly about. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely. No more going around on a merry-go-round. It's time for intentional, conscious living, right?
that's it. Oh,
Yeah,
hey, it's been
love
wonderful
it.
to chat as always. We
It
cannot wait
has.
to hear from you, and we'll speak to you soon, guys. Go live into those desires.
Yes. Yeah. Amazing. Thank you so
Take care.
much. Speak to you
Bye.
soon. Bye, guys.